Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with Season 2, Episode 1 of Link Click. When I say that the first season of this surprised me so much and impressed me so much that it became one of my all-time favorite shows, I mean that. It's insane how good this is to me. And it's been about 3.5 months since I finished it. And the wait has been unbearable. And I think the wait for this has been probably the most excruciating of almost any show I've ever reacted to, much less watched. Like, you compare it to, like, the waits I've had for stuff like Owl House or Ghost and Molly McGee or whatnot, and it's like, they don't stack up. Because while I love those shows, while I adore those shows, hell, Owl House is my second favorite show of all time at the moment. Link Click's wait was more excruciating, I think, because of the fact that I knew when I finished Season 1 that Season 2 was set to come out this year. With other stuff, like, let's say, Owl House's third season, it's like, it was just kind of like a matter of time. We knew there was going to be like a few months wait, and it's like, so I was okay with waiting for that. I was prepared for that. But with Link Click, it's like, all we knew is it's coming sometime this year. I did not know when, and it was just digging at me. And especially, part of that is also especially because of where it left off. Now, mind you, Season 2 of Owl House also left off on a big cliffhanger, but where Link Click left off, it was just unfair, man. So, for those who might not remember, where we left off with Season 1 of Link Click was that we had Cheng Xiaoxi trying to save Emma from jumping off a bridge. She was not in a good state of mind after everything that had happened. He was trying to stop her, and he actually managed to talk her down. However, at the last minute, we see that someone dove back in time and possessed her. We don't know who, but someone possessed her and caused her to jump off, which obviously fucked up Xiaoxi. But in the current day, Qiao Ling also got possessed and attacked Lu Guang, which is also really fucked up. And Xiaoxi had to come back to find Lu Guang, stabbed and shit. And it's like, Jesus, fuck this series. Of course it ends on something like that. Jesus. It was like, it was shocking, it was depressing, it was entirely fucked up to the point where it bothered the shit out of me that's where it left off. It's a great cliffhanger, all things considered, but it legitimately bothered the shit out of me. In these 3.5 months, I've just been continuously searching online to try and find any news of a release date. So when just recently, like maybe a couple weeks ago, it was revealed that it would be releasing on July 14th via the Link Click official Twitter, and that it would be releasing weekly on Bilibili and everything. It's like when that was revealed, it's like just pure ecstatic excitement. I was on cloud 9 when I saw that news. And then the wait for that to come ended up being a little excruciating. Though, luckily, I had TrotCon to help buffer that, but still. waiting on July 14th had become the new waiting for 3.5 months. Excuse me. But either way, um, then I was worried about, like, oh, what time is it going to come out? Is it, like, not going to be available in time? But no, it actually very much was. I woke up this morning, checked on the sites I normally use, and it's very much there. In fact, the first two episodes are up, which I wasn't expecting them to put two episodes up week one. I know it's going to be weekly, generally speaking. There's going to be 12 episodes instead of 11 this time. Um, but I didn't expect two episodes in week one, so that's pretty interesting. Um, I'm wondering if that means it's a two-parter in a way. Which means that this episode could leave us off on a really, really mean cliffhanger. uh, but I mean, considering we were already left off on a cliffhanger for people who watched this when it came out, 2 years. For me, only 3.5 months. I really, really feel bad for the people who had to wait 2 years for this. But yeah, I just am really excited to get to this again. Because, like I said, it became one of my favorite shows of all time. And that's a pretty big deal when that happens. It was definitely one of the biggest surprises to me. Because I checked it out because of the opening. The opening, it's like I saw the opening, it's like, oh, this is fucking fire. I love the song, I love the visuals, I love the tutting. I love that they're doing tutting in the opening. Um and so it's like I needed to check out the show, and it's like usually when I check out a show based on an opening, it does not live up to the hype of the opening. Um I almost never that has happened for me. A couple times maybe, but that's it. For example, Angel Beats. I did not like Angel Beats, what I saw of it. Yet the opening is absolute fire. And mind you, I'm talking specifically about series that I have checked out after having already seen the opening. So something like I think I didn't see Dororo's opening until I saw the series. But I might be wrong. If I am wrong, if I did see the opening first, that is one of those exceptions. Because Dororo's opening is absolute fire, and Dororo is absolute fire. It's a great series. um, but yeah, I'm excited to see more of this. I'm excited to see where this story goes. Um, I assume it's going to get a lot darker in this season, and maybe we'll start to find out a lot more about just the lore behind a lot of this stuff. Um, but yeah, we're probably gonna just stick to one episode a week. I'm gonna try my best to not get to episode two until sometime next week. Um, I mean, obviously it's Friday, so it'll have to be sometime next week, but probably midweek if I can hold off. um, just because after that it's gonna release weekly, and so it's like I won't be able to get to it otherwise. I don't know if I'll do them on Fridays once they start releasing weekly. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's just going to depend on what my mood is in for at the time. Um, yeah, we'll definitely have to just judge that at the time. Um, we'll see. uh, I wonder what the new opening is going to be like, though. Like, is it going to live up to the first one? Because that's another thing. There's a lot of second openings that don't live up to the first. Dororo is another great example of that. But then there's some that actually do, like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Dragon Maid S, that opening actually really lived up to the first. So, I mean, hey, it's kind of up in the air. Um, but as a reminder, this is a first impression series. This is not a donation reward. And this is taking over the slot for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur for the time being, while that is on break. After we finish this, we'll go right back to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, because obviously I'm still enjoying the shit out of that series. But I basically took a break from it just to get to this. There's another series out that I want to get to as well, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, but I am waiting for the dub for that. Just because it's like, I prefer Jujutsu Kaisen to the dub. I'm fine with the sub. I actually like the sub voices too, but I vastly prefer the dub, so I'm just going to wait. When that starts to come out on dub, then I will get to that. But for the time being, we are going to focus on this. So let's get it going and hope for the best, and hope this doesn't make me cry in the first episode again. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Another great episode of Link Click has come and gone. Season 2 starts off literally right where Season 1 ended, and leaves a lot more mystery and intensity and temporary heartbreak, even though it was obvious it wasn't going to stick. So whoever this mysterious person is that controlled Qiao Ling, that controlled Emma, that has controlled Min Liu and everyone else, whoever this mysterious diver is, they are clearly like a bad person. Like, I mean, that feels obvious to say, but like, I mean, like, there is absolutely no sense of morality there. They are like full-blown sociopath. It's like they just don't care about who they hurt or kill. They seem to enjoy it, like they're playing a game. And that's pretty scary, dealing with someone like that. Now, we're introduced to a new character in this, Min Liu's younger brother, it said. I believe it said younger. And he seems to be more respectable in terms of his attire, his demeanor, and whatnot. And he definitely gives off creepy vibes, but I think that's way too easy. I think it's way too easy to just automatically suspect him. It's like, oh, you bring in a new character who gives off some creepy vibes. It has to be the guy, right? No. That's way too simple. And I just don't think that's really a realistic way to handle it at this point. Now, could it be him? It could be. Or hell, for all we know, maybe he is being controlled as well. It's hard to say. But one thing we do know is that we need to put a stop to all of this. We need to make sure that this is figured out. And the issue here, as we see, is that whoever this person is, they are extremely smart and forward-thinking. Even to the part where, like, when they're in the hospital room and getting ready to, like, do some research and all, they take over Officer Chen, and while everyone else is distracted by the fact that his phone was given to them, they're able to bring Officer Chen out and up to clearly the roof and jumps off, killing Officer Chen. It's it's very clear that shit is going down and that it's about to get a lot more interesting. And I feel like this season is going to be more connected than last was at first. Because last season, a lot of it was like just kind of this mission of the week kind of thing. Oh, we're taking on this job for these people. Now we're taking on this job for this guy. And it's like, that's fine. That's great. But now it looks like it's going to be more focused, more intensely narrowed down to this story, this mystery about catching up to this villain. Um, we're obviously going to still have the diving and all, but it's probably going to be more to serve the main story. And there's a lot of shows that do this kind of thing. Start off with like, oh, just the core concept. You see these guys who can like dive back in time and solve these disputes or emotional things or like company problems or whatnot, and then it starts to go into the story. Then it starts to like evolve and make it more about the characters and the plot and whatnot. You could say Hell of a Boss did this. That's why it doesn't focus as much on the imp jobs anymore, because it was never about that. That was just a vehicle to get it started. And yeah, occasionally it might show another job here and there, like it did in the most recent episode of season 2. But that's going to be the exception. Most of it's still going to be about the characters and the story and the depth it's going into. That was always the plan. And so it's definitely doing the same kind of thing here. It's going more into the depths of it all rather than continuing to focus on the separate little jobs that they're doing. And Luke Wong's death in this was very obvious that wasn't going to stick. I mean, you're not going to kill off one of the main characters at the start of the second season, or I guess technically the end of the first season. It just doesn't work like that. Plus, he is notably still in the opening, so it's clear that he's going to have a role to play throughout the season still. So the question more lies with how were we going to get him back? I was thinking that Xiaoxi was going to have to dive back in time, but instead we see that it was just a ruse anyway, and that he never died. That it was all faked in order to keep his survival, I guess, a secret from the villain. But clearly that's not the situation anymore, considering we now know whoever this was affecting Officer Chen, and yeah, so clearly knows that Lu Guang is alive. But to be fair, I don't think Lu Guang was necessarily like needed to die from the villain's perspective. I think I think the villain was just like kind of just fucking around. Like like they tried to stab Qiao Ling as well while possessing her, but that was clearly just a way to test Xiaoxi. So I'm thinking that like him stabbing or them stabbing Lu Guang wasn't necessarily something that they need to do, or like they don't need Lu Guang dead or out of the way or anything. They were just doing it just to fuck with Xiaoxi and, well, Lu Guang as well. Like, I don't think they actually cared one way or the other if he survived or not. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I thought that like Xiaoxi was going to go back in time and save him, but no, instead he's just alive. So But we see that the captain is working with them and everything, so they have some allies. It's not just them. And Cowling found out everything about what happened, which, God, she's got to be going through some hella big trauma. Like, to find out that your body was possessed and that you stabbed your good friend while such was happening. It's just like, yeah, that would traumatize the shit out of most people, I feel. uh, and on top of just all of this, like, this seems to be focusing more on the mystery aspect of it all. And it kind of makes you wonder, who is the killer? It's like, is it the brother? Most likely not. Is it the father? Doubtful. The father does want Minlu's phone back, probably for something that's on it, but he's, judging on the way he was speaking and talking, he's clearly not the bad guy. And again, the brother is just way too obvious. Outside of that, I don't know. I think we can pretty much rule out everyone who was in that hospital room, though. Chen and the captain included. So, yeah, I don't know at this point. It's going to be interesting to maybe find out, though. But I also like how it's like, oh, we're going to reveal Officer Chen has a wife and child and all, and then we're going to kill him. And it's like, Jesus fuck, Link Click, why do you do this? I think that was the saddest part of the episode. Like, because again, the entire stuff with Lu Guang, it's like, I knew he was going to survive. So even when Xiaoxi was like breaking down, it's like I wasn't as sad as I could have been because I knew he was going to survive somehow, some way. But with that, it's like I don't know if they're going to be able to rescue Officer Chen. I hope so, but I don't know. There's a lot of factors that would go into that, and I would like to see that happen. But I guess we'll have to see. Now, like I said, there is a second episode already released, but we are going to wait, obviously, to get to that sometime next week, presumably. I don't know exactly when, just when I get to it. And then episode 3 is set to come out next Friday. So I should be able to get to that the week after, like in 2 weeks, but I don't know if I'm gonna want, like, I'm obviously gonna want to get to it sooner, but I don't know if I'm gonna like try to like get it to it on the day of release. The problem is, if I get it on the day of release, then I have to wait an entire other week. I mean, if I don't, I pretty much have to wait a week anyway. So it's like, no matter what, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know when exactly I'm going to react to everything. If it ends up being like after, once we get to episode 3, if it ends up being just weekly on Fridays from that point on or so, I mean, I'd be willing to do that. It's just, I don't usually do a scheduled thing anymore. I guess, though, with the currently airing series, it's more understandable to do so with. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Either way, I should be getting to episode 2 sometime next week. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this first episode of Link Click? And if you know any kind of spoilers from any kind of like pre-release information that they have given or whatnot, please don't tell me. I wish to remain spoiler free. If they've released any kind of info on like more of what this season is going to be about or whatnot, I don't want to know ahead of time. I want to go into this as blind as possible. And so, yeah. Just please keep it spoiler free as much as you can, especially if you've already seen the second episode. Please do not reveal anything from that. But let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments below once again. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.